MF Doom going on, sending y'all positive energy, sending y'all positive frequencies, sending y'all positive vibrations in this moment. All right. Quick crystal count. All right. I'm definitely working with the selenite real fast. I'm gonna go ahead and clear the space. You know what I mean? And you know, as I stated earlier, and I'll show y'all again, I have the smoky celestial quartz going on. All right. Very empowering, very powerful crystal, helping you tap into the third, fourth, fifth dimensions. Okay. Actually, no. Angelic energy, helping you tap into that angelic energy, the angel realm. Okay. Whether it's your ancestors or your spirit guides or the angels. Okay. It's an amazing crystal to have. Also, I have the peridot going. All right. So while you're up there, this is a really good crystal for grounding because it has the smoky quartz and then it has the celestial in it. So you have the best of both worlds. You're grounded and then you are able to ascend and go to higher levels. And this right here protects you while you are on your ascension journey, while you are on your astral traveling journey. All right. Hit that like button. I just want to go ahead and send y'all some positive energy, frequency, and vibrations in this moment. All right. I'm definitely working with some black tourmaline. I got the black tourmaline in here. Super 7 amethyst. Okay, I got the blue kyanite, which is crazy because that I love to use for when I'm doing a lot of talking. And then, you know, hold on, blue kyanite here. Then I got the lapis lazuli here. You know what I'm saying? Then I got the amethyst right here. You know, amethyst going. Then I got the black kyanite right here. Crazy, the witch's broom, you know. And then we got the hematite going right here. Wild work. Then we got the black Shiva right there. You know, classic pieces, man. You know, classic pieces. I work with these every day. Actually, right now, I'm also working with, I have a special combination that I put together for financial abundance. Maybe I might know this one. I'm going to share with y'all again. All right. It is Tiger's Eye. Okay. You got the Tiger's Eye going. You got the Malachite going. Okay. Right off the top, you got the citrine. You got the pyrite. You got the clear quartz crystal, and then to top it off, you have the black obsidian. It's a wild combination right here. I keep this with me when I'm tapping into financial abundance and being a magnet for financial abundance and prosperity and growth in that aspect. Okay, really amazing stuff that I love to be tapped in with and in tune with. All right, and you know, usually I have my other crystals over here, but y'all have seen them already if you've been watching my lives. So if you want to see me bring them back, I can definitely do so. But yeah, you know, I'm just here vibing out and, you know, thinking about y'all. So I just wanted to hop on the live and send y'all some positive energy, frequencies, and vibrations in this moment. Yes, it is super late. Yes, it is probably 1 o'clock almost in the morning. So, you know, I'm not sure if I will stay on for an hour, but what I am sure about is I definitely have a few messages for y'all that I want to get to you all. All right. And the message that I want to get with you all about or in tune with is I want y'all to really see that we are in our biggest and best time for instant manifestation of positivity, instant manifestation of growth, instant manifestation of abundance, and, you know, really internal growth or introspection rather. And so that's the thing that I love about this the most is, there, if you remember the time that was right before this, or the season that was right before this, it was kind of like shaky. It was kind of shaky. It was kind of like a lot of us didn't really know that the world was even changing, unless we look back. But it has been a major shift in the energy. There has been a major shift in the frequency. And the shift has come because you have done the work. All right. And a lot of the experiences that you are experiencing now is because you have a changed perspective. Okay, your perspective has more clarity now. Your perspective has more expansion. You have been able to expand your mind and see things more broader in this time of your life, because you have done a lot of the work. And it's just really an amazing feat, to say the least, that you have really shown your strength. You have really shown how strong you are and how persevering you really can be in all circumstances. Because here we are now, we're in this time where the energy is positive, because a lot of the not, and I'm not going to say that the old energy was not positive. I'm going to definitely say that it just wasn't serving you. It's not that it was negative energy that had to leave your space. It could have been positive energy, but it just wasn't serving you in your highest timeline. So it was kind of like one of those scenarios where, you being on this journey, you had to be really laser focused on what it is that you are tapped in with, as far as your journey, as far as the goals that you are looking to achieve. So, in order to do that, of course, we need balance. Of course, we had to recognize that not all things were easy before, so that we can realize that they are, or they may be easy now, and without the introspection and without the balance, how is it that we would be able to say that things can be positive right now if we didn't experience some turmoil in the past? So, we are acknowledging all elements of our feelings and our emotions, and we're also standing in our truth in the present moment, and what we're experiencing here in the present moment is, as I said earlier, more clarity. Clarity meaning you can see things clearer. You can see things more clearer now, and you are seen more clearer. Okay, the way people are perceiving you is they're finally seeing what you've already seen in yourself. Now they see what you are, who you are. But the thing is you've always seen yourself this way. You've always seen yourself as your greatest version. It's just maybe the times were hard. There was a lot of confusion, and now that all of the dust has settled, and all of the confusion, I'm not going to say confusion, but like all of the hard times are behind you. Now that all of the hard times are behind you, now everyone can see you in your truest authenticity, and really just embellish on hearing your story, if you're open to speak about it, or even if you're not the type to really tell everything that you've triumphed over. They can just look at you, and they can in return charge their energy, because your energy is charged. Now you are charged. You are charged. You are ready for whatever, because you are living in your purpose, and you are experiencing abundance, joy, happiness, and positivity in all aspects. All right, definitely go ahead and hit that like button. And it's one of those things that when you go on this journey, and I said this the other night, and I'll say this again, you imagine your journey being a straight path. You imagine it being a straight path, just going straight forward. But what usually happens is we tend to experience zigs and zags, where we feel like we're going straight, but then there's nowhere else you can go that goes straight. You have to maybe detour, make a left, or go down this path. And then, but because your moral compass is on, you always make your way back to your path, your journey. And everything is a part of your journey, and that's the beautiful thing about the journey is that there's no thing that shouldn't happen. Everything is always going to happen for your highest good and for you to grow and be your greatest version. And that's why I'm kind of like not a fan of really telling myself this shouldn't have happened or that shouldn't have happened, because I believe everything should have happened in order for me to have the clarity and the focus to be where I'm at right now. And when you look at life as something that's happening for you, you kind of have a ease of mind. Your mind is eased, more eased, and you're more relaxed. You are more calm, just like you are when you are out in nature, and just think about it. Like when we're in nature, we experience calmness. We experience the songs from the birds, we experience the sounds of the leaves, whether they're falling or whether they're just swaying in the wind. We experience the wind blowing past us. For those of us who love the ground, I love the ground. That's a confirmation. I love the ground. I love to be in nature with no shoes on. Sometimes I put my hands in the grass as well. That's something that I saw too a few months ago, like maybe about 2 months ago. I saw one of my favorite creators, Erykah Badu. She was meditating, and it was like an Instagram video where she was just walking in the grass, and that was somewhere in Philly, I believe. She was somewhere in Philly, I think, for the Roots Festival. And she was walking in the grass barefoot, and she put her hands in the grass, while her feet were in the grass. And it's like as you all know, I always hold my crystals in my hand. So does everybody. We all hold our crystals in our hand. And it's all about the energy you get from the crystals. And how you can tell what kind of energy you get is based on what hand you hold the crystals in. The hand that if you hold your crystals in your left hand, that's the hand that you receive energy with. If you hold your crystals in your right hand, that's the hand that you send energy out with. So just to see her put her feet and ground her feet in the grass and then put her hands in the grass, I'm like, wow, she's giving and receiving energy into nature. And to me, that is the perfect way to show reciprocity, and so it was one of those videos that I just loved to see it. I watched it twice, and then I watched it 2 more times. It was just like very interesting because I always put my feet in the grass, but I never thought to put my hands in the grass, and so put the glasses on, go ahead and hit that like button. So, it was just one of those things that was really inspirational, and it's not something that I always do. Like if I usually see somebody in public and they're meditating or they're in nature, I never observe them. However, when you look at things on social media, or as, I like to call it now, interest media, you find things that are interesting, because a lot of times when you turn social media on, it's always going to be full with the things that you are the most interested in. That's going to be the thing that is flooding to your timeline first. And, of course, nowadays we talk a lot about, we have friends on social media, but their posts don't pop up first. Now it's all about the interest, like the things that you show interest when you're swiping, or the videos that you look at, or the people that you subscribe to. that's what's going to be shown to you first, and then you have to kind of like search for your friends or your family on social media. So that's why hit that like button. That's a confirmation. Excuse me. It is late, so part of me. Um, it is why one of my other mentors, Gary Vee, he calls it interest media. He was coined saying something along the lines of, we are now in the age of interest media. So, that's kind of like where we are with social media right now is a lot of times we may subscribe to people, but it's still, the algorithm is still pretty much solely based on what we are showing interest in. So, even though you want to see the people you subscribe to, they're still going to show you what you're the most interested in. And, that's kind of why I love to I've been kind of digressing away from really being on social media super hard, unless I'm posting something about my business or about my YouTube page. Like I'll surf on there here and there, but I mostly spend a lot of time on YouTube and just learning what I can, or listening to a book, or just something like that. And that's kind of my take on how to balance with dealing with social media is to kind of like take time out of your day to power your phone off, and just get out into nature, and or wherever you can go to, where you feel comfortable and feel relaxed, and you feel like you can hear your thoughts and see your visions, and you go there. And it's a really good idea to try and do, not try, but it's a really good idea to do, so that you can really get to know yourself on a deeper level. And that's kind of like what I've been doing as of late. I've been really just really not prioritizing my phone heavy. Like before, I used to always keep my phone everywhere, keep it, and stuff. But now it's like I just look at it as a tool. I look at it like something that's like I make my notes. Or if I have any ideas, I'll put them in my area where I keep my notes at. And I'm always going in, when I go into social media, I'm always going in with the idea that I want to be inspired. It's not up to the people I subscribe to be inspired. It's up to the visions that I get when I'm in meditation. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for alignment with what I saw a vision with, and maybe it's for more clarity. A lot of times I go on social media because I'm looking for more clarity. Just in a diversity based mindset. Like I just want to see people who are doing similar things but doing different things, just so that I can see what they're doing and be inspired. But it's always going to come back to me, and it's always, like I always encourage you to focus on your journey and focus on your path. And a lot of times you'll get an idea or a vision, and it will tell you, okay, go to YouTube, or go to, like, some people go to Reddit, or some people go to Pinterest. You just want to see, maybe you just want to see if what you're envisioning is tangible. Maybe you just want to see if your vision is something that has been created before, or if they did create it before, what did they do different, or what did they do original that you want to do different? Because as artists, we always look at things to see what can we take from this and put our own spin on it, and that's usually the fun of creating. That's the fun of being a creator, is really just um, seeing how you can take something and make it your own. Take an idea and keep it as your own, or make it your own, or be an innovator. Maybe you are inspired to do something that you don't see anyone else doing, and even in doing that, you're going to inspire other people to do something that maybe they've never done before. It's not necessarily that you're inspiring them to do what you're doing, because that's not always the case. A lot of times you um, will be called to inspire other people to do their own thing, and so that's kind of like my take on it. And that's kind of like, and I'm gonna definitely say, I've heard it said before, I'm gonna say it now, but I've heard it said before. And I said his name earlier. I was referencing my mentor Ralph Smart, and he was saying that, when you look at it, he was saying that he uses his phone like a tool. So when you use your phone like a tool, you can kind of be more sovereign. You don't have to be governed or controlled by your phone. You can just, periodically you can look into it and see what's going on with the world or anything. And I liken the phone to, I look at the phone like this. I was gonna say I like it how I liken the phone, but I look at the phone like Black Obsidian. If you've ever worked with Black Obsidian, it is a tool that helps you look deep within yourself. Okay. And it's black, it's shiny, and if you ever look at your phone screen and it's off, it looks like this. It looks like this, and but the only difference is when you look into your phone, you're looking at the world. But when you look at Black Obsidian, you're looking at your inner world, where the world that you're creating in your mind and in your thoughts and in your spirit, and it's really fun to see, like, the duality of it, but it's still like a singularity, like it is genuinely a duality, because what you see in your phone is not what you see inside of you. Like, that's impossible. But that has its way of coexisting, and then you have what you do when you look deep within yourself has this way of coexisting, because what you see inside yourself, a lot of times, what's funny, a lot of times you may say, I've been having conversations this week, even up to yesterday. I was having a conversation with my brother. I was telling you, I was talking to my brother the other day, and we were talking about, like, how even if you think about something, your phone will show it to you, or your computer will show it to you. And it's always it always can be looked at as a half truth. It could be looked at as a truth or a half truth, and it could be looked at it as a way of, okay, well, how do I look deep within myself without it affecting my phone? And so, a lot of people, they, will leave their phones a lot of times. I'm not saying that you should leave your phone or anything like that. I'm just saying that, like, if you leave your phone and you go out into nature, your thoughts are yours. You won't have to worry about if it's being influenced, if you're influencing a thought pattern or anything like that into your phone. But it's the fun. It's also the fun thing that phones give us as well, because it gives us an outlet to look at what other people are doing. I said that earlier. It's also a free. You get free advertisement. You can advertise all day, all night, in the middle of the night. Like right now, I'm showcasing the ocean experience. almost 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, one something in the morning, and I'm just vibing out and I feel inspired. I just turn on the camera and I go. The devices are amazing. You have a phone that has a calculator that can call people, that can send text messages. You can go into different apps. You can be in LinkedIn 1 minute, Pinterest another minute, Instagram the third minute. You could be on Facebook for 5 minutes. You can be on X for 10 minutes, which is Twitter. You know, as I said earlier, Reddit. Um, there's so many other apps too that are amazing apps, and you can do a lot of things with the phone. But as I say in my videos, and I'll say it again, art imitates life. Like a lot of the things that our phones do, they're the second ones to do it because we're the original ones to do everything that our phone is showing us. A lot of us may think like, oh, it's state of the art, technology, which it is a lot of times. I'm just gonna be honest, but we are the state of the art technology. We were created as spiritual beings having a human experience with technology inside of us. We are technologically advanced. Like we can time travel in our minds. We can use our mind to travel to um into the future, into the past. You know, we can imagine a world that we can create, or an experience. We can imagine, we can think of something and then we can make it physical, make it tangible, you know, and that's unheard of, and a lot of the technology that is created is because we are so advanced. Like we may a lot of times look at the technology, but it's like, as I said earlier, it's a duality. It's we're living our life and then the phone has its life, and um of course, because like now we have AI, which is I think it's amazing. I like to utilize the AI when it comes to the expansiveness of what it knows. I know that there's still a lot of knowledge to attain that has nothing to do with AI. I know there's a lot of books I can read. I know there's a lot of places I can go. And then also too, I know I get a lot of answers just by sitting in silence. So I don't rely on AI to live, but it's an excellent companion as far as if you have any ideas, or if you want to know what's the weather today, or if you want to know if something's a great idea. Like the other day, I was looking up. Um, I know this is a little off the topic, but I was laughing with my brother because I was telling him that I was looking up like how do I make organic deodorant, like from in the house, that I can make myself. And AI gave me a whole thing, whereas, like recipes and everything. Whereas I probably would have had to take the whole day and go to a library and go to, and kind of like look through and get information from this book, get information from that book, and then see how I feel. But which is not the wrong thing, because any way you can get knowledge is the best way. I'm not biased. I'm not the type of person to tell you how to get your information or how to get your knowledge. I would never impose on you all like that. I just have a lot of fun with the diversity. I love asking AI sometimes, and I love reading books sometimes, and I love listening to books. Like I'll listen to an audio book quick while I do something else, you know. And I just love hearing people talk, Like I love, like that's what I watch when I'm on YouTube. Is I watch people talk. I love when people talk about things they're interested in, things they're inspired by, things that they have, life events. And I love it when it's not like personal. Like I love like when they're just, being candid and they're just talking and they're stuff. But I'm not really one to like look for content creators that are telling their personal stuff. But I love to learn. I love to watch things where I can learn, and I can bring the information back to you, the collective, and we can kind of build and see, what do we all learn from what I'm talking about. And then a lot of times too, I get messages in the comments where people will add on, and they'll give me amazing insights and introspectives on how to look at things, blueprints for different thought patterns. Like I get so many great ideas coming from the collective, man. Just based on things that I did research on that I'm bringing to you all. Proven facts, or things that I lived, or things that I've experienced. And I speak with y'all, and I build with y'all, and then in return, y'all let me know if it inspired y'all. Like some people, they might tell me that even though it inspired them, there's other things that happen that they love to share. And I just think that it's cool, because it's like we have this community where we're all just kind of growing and learning, and we're all like-minded, and we're unique as well. We're not all the same in that aspect. We're very unique. We're very, we all have our own blessings that came from God, blessings that came from the Most High. And even though we're unique, and some may argue and say we're all different, we're all the same. Like I'm experiencing you in a different body. You're experiencing I'm you living in, I'm you and you are me, but I just live in my body, you live in your body, and we all are fragments of the universe. We are all, different. We all have different parts and pieces of the universe, and we all came here with special gifts and talents, and things that we are assigned to come here to help change the world in the narrative, and make the world beautiful. So that's kind of why I enjoy this journey. I enjoy this journey because it's amazing to meet people and see, what they think about, or what they've experienced, and then also too, I spend a lot of time, I always talk about this, but I spend a lot of time isolating, in isolation, as well. Or, when I say isolation, I don't just sit in the house all day. Like when I'm out and about, I may be around a lot of people, but I'm just to myself. I'm just like out the way. I'm over here to the side, and I do a lot of observing. I do a lot of observing, hit that like button. And that's kind of how I get my knowledge. That's how I get my information, because, things are shown to you, and things will come to you that exemplify your highest good. And hit that like button. That's a confirmation. Things will come to you that you may have never had an answer for before, and now you know about it. Now you know what to do. And that's kind of the energy that we've been experiencing now with the Mercury retrograde, and the strawberry moon, and the blue moon we just had, and just a lot of the things that we've been experiencing. We've been shown special downloads. We've been giving answers to questions that we didn't have to read any books for. It just comes to us. You sit, and you might just be minding your business or whatever you're doing, and then the answer just comes, and it's just like, oh, okay, and it just comes in like as we used to say back in the day, like it's like eureka, or like an aha moment, You know, the aha, I mean, you know, that's something that Oprah used to say, Oprah Winfrey. But then, you know, before that, we had the eureka moment. Like, you're like, eureka is like a light bulb above your head, you know, where this thing that you never even had a question about, not only are you given the question, you're given the answer. And you didn't have to read any books, or no, you didn't have to have a deep conversation with somebody else in order to come to understanding or understanding. It just appeared, you know. And that's kind of what a lot of people are experiencing right now. Is we're experiencing a time where we are advancing. And I love that phrase that Fat Joe used to say. He would say, like, yesterday's price is not today's price, you know. And I like, if I was to swap some of the words around, I would say, yesterday's thoughts are not today's thoughts, you know. The information is forever. So yesterday's information is today's information, is tomorrow's information. It's all about, you know, but it's always going to be all about perspective too, you know. And the information never, it's concrete and it never changes, but it's always based on a person's perspective, you know, and their introspection and how they view things. How is it being perceived? Or you know, how are you perceiving what information you're getting? You know, because that's what I love about a lot of the books I read. And I talk a lot about my favorite book, The Emerald Tablets. That book has been the same since, you know, pretty much the beginning of time as we know it, you know. And then even it was speculated even in that book that there was time before the beginning of time. And it was, you know, like everything just has its ebb and flow, where it's like we just kind of go from not knowing to enlightenment, and then we go back to not knowing, and then we have enlightenment, and then, but I don't want to go super deep. If you want to know what I'm talking about, definitely read The Emerald Tablets. That's my favorite book. But you know, that particular mind state, it came to me because I was ready, you know. And I'm not just talking about that book, or I'm not just talking about the Emerald Tablets. I'm not just talking about the Kabbalion. I'm not just talking about all of the amazing books that were crafted to help us reach ascended knowledge. I'm just more or less, I'm just giving y'all insight on how by shifting your frequency you are able to get the answers, you know. And everyone, you know, I say it all the time too. I kind of just throw it out there, you know, raise your frequency, shift your frequency. But I never speculate what happens when you do that. You know, when you raise your frequency, you get the answers. When you align with a higher frequency, you get the wisdom. You know, you get the understanding, you get the knowledge, you get the answers, you know. And it's all about the frequency. It's always going to be about, you know, the energy. It's always going to be about just, you know, of course I said the energy because I was talking yesterday about the sun, you know, just how being in the sun. And you know, I was out there and I was getting so many ideas and concepts, and you know, but I always measure things like Nikola Tesla said, energy, you know, everything is measured in energy, frequency, and vibration. And then I always like to throw in authenticity, you know, because energy can't be frequency and frequency can't be a vibration. Everything stands alone, but it's also authentic as well. It's always true. You know, you can't never experience energy and say that wasn't energy. You can't never experience a vibration and say that wasn't a vibration, you know, or frequency as well. You can't experience a frequency and say, nah, that wasn't frequency. You know, everything you see, it's absolute, just like God, just like the universe, you know. And it's it's always gonna be that way, and that's always the way it's always ever been. That's why I always love saying that I'm sending y'all positive energy, frequency, and vibration. And I always make sure I say positive, because there's a lot of other energy out here, and frequencies out here, and vibrations out here, and y'all know low vibrations, low energy, low frequency. But I'm no expert. I just know what I experience, and I just know that anytime I experience anything positive or abundant, that puts a smile on my face, and it's just a great idea to shift to those higher frequencies and embody it, because this is what we're here to do. We're here to experience life and see what is coming into our life to make us better, So I'm always observant like that. I'm always still, and watching and listening and observing, just to see, all right? Because I'm curious too, and I'm curious. I know what good things can happen. I just want to see it, I don't want it to happen and I wasn't present, I wasn't present, to experience what happened. And I'm like, what happened? Everything is going great, but I don't understand what happened. I don't want to be like that. I want to be ready. I want to see it from the horizon, coming from the horizon. Oh, here come that blessing. Here it comes. It's coming through, and that's just kind of like, and I talk a lot about the ocean experience. That's kind of like, whew, hit that like button. Hit that like button. That's why I named the channel The Ocean Experience. I was talking about that yesterday, heavy, and I'm gonna talk about it again. It's all about taking the energy from being in the heart of nature and carrying it with you. And the reason why I highlight that and I say that in that form is because the world, based on, and I don't want to say based on perspective, because your perspective can be changed without you knowing, if you're not conscious. It can change and it can be changed. And that's the part, right there on, when I talk about why I named the ocean experience, and I speak about taking the calmness of being in nature, or the serenity, or the enlightenment that you get, you carry that with you when you leave. And when you come to nature, you bring yourself authentically. See, nature experiences you. All right. I always talk about your experience all the time. And I always talk about the ocean experience. But what happens when you go into nature is nature experiences somebody that's coming to appreciate it. Someone, a spiritual being having a human experience is here. Whether you've come to hug a tree, whether you've come to put your feet in the sand, or in the grass, or in the dirt, you've arrived. And nature knows you could have been anywhere in the world. And trust me, there's plenty of places in the world you could have been. Anywhere. But you chose to come to nature. And nature is alive. Nature is alive. The trees are alive. They have feelings. They hear you. When you are in gratitude and appreciation, they feel it. They feel like a sense of purpose, like they're doing their best to keep us alive, because without the oxygen, we wouldn't be alive, but they breathe out oxygen and they breathe in carbon dioxide, and we're the opposite. We breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. And it's like, it's manifestation every time you breathe. Every time you breathe, you're breathing life into your life. into yourself physically, figuratively and physically. You are breathing life into yourself, you know. And nature is the same way. Nature is manifesting every time, you know, because the air that we no longer need, we're sending it into the universe or into nature. We're sending it into nature so that nature can breathe it in, and the same way we breathe in oxygen and go, you know, in our nose, holding it, out our mouth, holding it. That's what nature, that's what the trees are doing. That's what the bushes are doing. That's what nature is doing. So it's a beautiful exchange where if you've never experienced reciprocity, that's where you go to see it, experience it, and live and dwell within it. You know, I love being in nature. Of course, there's plenty of cities here in Fort Lauderdale. You see all my lives and all my different videos. I'm always like walking around, and you'll see like they'll put a city in the middle of this nature spot, or they'll put nature in the middle of that city spot. You know, they'll build up a place and put a park in the middle, and the park will be beautiful, or it'll be a beautiful park, and they'll put some, you know, nice buildings around, and everything is fun. You know, everything is coexisting. You know, and you know, not all of us have the opportunity to be in nature, but we can make a choice to go to nature, and we can choose to go there and be there and experience nature. And just like the trees and the bushes are alive and they get ideas on how to be their greatest version, that's what we get. We get downloads from being in the sun, from being outside, you know, even in sometime if it's raining a little bit or whatever's going on. Everything is an inspirational event, you know, because even the rain is there to bring supplement, to bring water, just like we drink water. And even if we don't, even before we drank water, we used to eat fruits that had water in it, or coconuts, or watermelon, or, you know, cucumber. What's the other one? Apple. You know, some fruits and vegetables have more water than others, but that's the same thing that happens when you're in nature and it starts drizzling or it starts raining. That's what the trees are getting. The trees are loving it. You know, they're getting their water intake. You know, and when I think about as above, so below, if you've ever looked at a tree, speaking about trees in nature, the way they look above is the way they look below. You know, they have that same. The trunk goes down in the dirt or in the soil, and then it goes like this. The same way the tree can go like this, as above, so below. You know, and we have the same qualities. You know, because as we have access to our higher version, we get ideas that come down to our lower version, as above, so below. You know, we have to experience the idea of heaven, the thought of heaven, in order to create heavenly things here as a co-creator on earth. You know, we have to experience the ideas, we have to experience the visions in order to see what it feels like. And what we're recreating as a co-creator is we're recreating the feeling that we had, where we felt something when we saw the vision, and now we feel something when we create it here as a co-creator. And now us being the co-creator, and God or the universe, or, you know, whatever you subscribe with, is the original creator. And I was talking about this the other day, about when you use your imagination, you are using God's creative energy. You know, your imagination is effortless. It's very fast. You know, the version of yourself that you imagine yourself as is operating at its highest version. It doesn't get sick. It doesn't get ill. It just operates. When you look at, when you imagine, just think about it like this. When you imagine yourself somewhere, right? When you imagine yourself somewhere, going somewhere, being somewhere, arriving somewhere, in your mind and in a daydream or astral travel, whichever, I like to think they're the same thing, but I digress. You're showing up in that vision as a version of you that's not sick, that's not ill, that's not, going through anything. You're showing up as your greatest version, and you're experiencing this thing that you think some of you may think about it all day. You're experiencing it. You're living within that thought, that feeling, that you're dwelling there. You're dwelling in that vision. And then when you come back from the daydream, or when you come back from the astral travel, you're doing everything you can here in the fourth dimension to try and recreate the feeling, the vibe, and the only difference is that when you recreate it, it's better here, even though it was great in your mind, but it's better when you can touch it. And that's kind of like, where I'm at with it. And I'm here. I got these I got the MF Doom playing. Y'all probably hear it. I got the glasses on because guess what? Your boy is getting a little tired. It is late. I don't even know what time it is. Oh yeah, it's almost 2. Ain't that something? And then I'm getting people, right, that are like, I see some of the people like popping in, but they're like, like we gonna check you out in the AM, or whenever we get calibrated, and I never stay up till 2 like this, but I've been doing lives, right, where I just did a live, and it was like, I think for like 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and my tablet was gonna die because I had to reset it. So I said to myself, let me reset it so that it can charge, and then I reset it, and then it charged. It's charging now. I'm actually on it now. I got the MF Doom playing. And I'm just enjoying, building with you all, talking with you all, and trust and believe I'm gonna get me some excellent, amazing sleep when I get a chance, because I did everything else already. I already did everything else. I did the whole, ate dinner, showered, all that type of stuff. I did all, I'm good. I don't need nothing right now. I'm chilling. So, yeah, I look good, man. Boy did his thing. So, yeah, I'm gonna get ready to fire off soon. I'm just getting acclimated right quick before I deep dive into that subconscious realm. But yeah, that's kind of like, where I'm at with it tonight. And I'm very happy to share time with you all. Very happy to kind of like tap in with y'all and just, provide some value, provide some, valuable content, provide quality content. Showing up, even though I love posting my videos that I edit and stuff like that, I love going live, man. Like going live to me is my new favorite thing right now. And you should have seen me when I did my first live this week or last week. Last week I was doing my first live that I had done in a long time, and I was laughing with the collective because I was saying that I was the most, not scared, but like it's like you have to build yourself up to go live. Like you have to just do it. You can't watch the numbers. You can't watch, I got one person or I got two people watching me. You know what I'm saying? You can't care. You just gotta come on here and put your quality content out and turn it off. Like you can't. Like, and the thing is, I used to be very in my head about it because I was like, well, what if nobody shows up, or what if And then I'm like, well, I could just post it, and then I can just turn it off private and turn it from private to make it live. Make it public, and it is what it is. And um the thing I love about YouTube and content creating is you can just keep moving. You don't have to stay there. You don't have to put out one amazing piece of content and then just hope everybody watches it and then you just sit back. Like, this is designed for you to just create and evolve and create more and create more and create more. And then when you have subscribers, like I have subscribers, I'm getting subscribers like pretty much every day that come in, and they're very interested because I'm creating quality content that some of my stuff that I post, people love it. Some of my stuff that I post, other people love it. And I make stuff for everybody, and to them, I imagine that they subscribe because they want to be a part of what it is I'm creating here at the Ocean Experience, that we're creating, that we are all creating here at the Ocean Experience. And I would be doing a major disservice. I'll be doing a major disservice by convincing everyone to subscribe, and then I don't post anything but one fire content, and then I just sit back, and then what? I'm not gonna just, what I'm gonna do, watch the numbers go up and down and fluctuate. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna, if I have to create every day, I'm gonna create every day. And it's just how I feel about it, because before I used to I'm not gonna say I played it small, but I used to just create like a lot of short videos. It's a confirmation. I used to create a lot of short content videos, and I used to get a lot of views, like 2,000 views, 3,000 views. And it's just not the same as long form content. When you're on YouTube and you're creating long content, and you decide, and the people decide that you're gonna have 1,000 views, 2,000 views, 3,000 views, and it's long form content, and they watching all the way to the end, then you doing it. You're doing great. And I love to edit my videos and stuff like that, but I just I'm not gonna say it's time consuming because I could always just still post and or record and just post it. But because I see that I've recorded, I'm out there, I've recorded, then I have to come all the way back here, put it into my editing app, edit it. I got my music, because I make all my own music. Add the music to it from GarageBand or whatever, and sync everything together. Then I have to add all my text. Then I have to add all my logos and everything in my time, not timestamps, but whatever it is I'm adding. It takes a lot. It takes a lot away from you, the person that subscribed. If I make like a video or two videos today, but I have to edit them, y'all not gonna see them till tomorrow or the next day. And then by the third day, y'all might be on to something else, or y'all might have, whatever. I'm not saying that y'all not gonna be here, but I'm just saying that that's a long time when I can just go live. I can just go live and create something, and y'all can enjoy it. I can enjoy, creating for y'all. Like, there's a lot of people that leave comments. And too, I just want to say before I go, I love that you all are being yourself. Like, I love that you ask questions. I love that You know, you're asking the kind of questions you want to ask. You're making the kind of comments you want to make, and you know, you're saying, you know, like it's to me, it's amazing because, um, you know, everybody's here is super. Everyone here is um shows a lot of love, and the comments are genuine, and y'all just be checking in, man. And I just love that y'all check in with me like that. So, you know, I just want to go ahead and give y'all flowers real quick. I'm getting ready to sign off. I'm getting ready to go to bed. No, wait. I'm getting ready to go to bed. You know what I'm saying? And take it down. And I'm going to start over all over tomorrow. All again tomorrow. I'm going to start over. All right. But I'm sending y'all positive energy, frequencies, and vibrations in this moment in hopes that you all continue having a blessed and abundant day whenever you see this. All right. Peace and love. Namaste.